All right. Well, I feel like we should talk about On It then.
That sounds like a great thing to talk about.
And
I'll let you talk about it. I'm going to sit over here and decompress.
Well, okay, so I'm really glad, and this kind of goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. I'm glad that we kind of got aligned. I mean, I already took Shroom Tech before this, but actually, I guess technically it was you who really made me take krill oil. You know,
I didn't make you take
it. But let's say you influenced me enough to actually take action, as they say. But anyway, so it's like kind of I compare like the post krill oil and the pre krill oil situation. So I was, I was into lifting weights and stuff, and you know how like weights is a good kind of. Weights is cool because you know how strong you are, kind of thing. You know,
there's the number.
Yeah, it's pretty black and white. There's the number, so you can kind of judge, like, yeah, that guy's strong, or I'm strong, or I'm not strong, whatever, right? So I considered myself pretty strong in the weight room. But okay, this one time, one of our friends came into town. We have the weights at the outside and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, you got the weights, and so he gets under there and he grabs the weight, not heavy, but he grabs them, and I'm thinking in my head, like, I can do way more than that. But then I was like, I can, but I have to warm up a lot first, because so really, how strong am I? Really? Anyway, the point there is that was pre-krill oil. I'm not saying I could jump underneath my max no warm up. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like my actual strength is closer to my no non-warm-up strength now.
That's a good thing.
You ever seen those videos where...
Probably not, but go ahead.
I don't know. You may have heard, the one where they dress up the young professional basketball player or something.
To look like a nerd or something?
No, an old man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's this one. It's like I think he's like a pro CrossFit guy or a pro weight Olympic lifter or something. So he goes to this beach, he's this old man, and he's, hey, you guys are strong and stuff like that. I think he kind of overdoes it, in my opinion, with acting, but whatever. And everyone's believing, like, oh, this old man, he probably used to be a weightlifter. And he gets under the weight, and he's just killing. He's embarrassed. He's just showing up all the guys, beating them, lifting more weights than them and whatnot. So then he kind of like does his old man walk away. That's how I felt before the krill oil. When it's time to lift, like, I can lift a lot, but like my everyday life, I'm like kind of stiff, I gotta like get up after all. Anyway, that's it. That's the krill oil comparison speech.
And where would you recommend people get the krill oil that you speak of so highly?
Anyway, On It. But here, and I looked into that
all my prompts lead towards closure. That's my goal.
Yeah, sure. No. But I'm saying, like, and you
don't care about my goal. You got your own goal. You got stories to tell. You got things people want to hear about.
But I think when I saw those videos, I was like, that was me before krill. Or I really thought that. Like, oh, that's how it feels. It's kind of funny. It's a funny video. It's a funny thought, even, really. But that's kind of how it feels. But I don't have that problem anymore. I don't feel like that anymore. So if someone has seen that video and they might be feeling that way, maybe I can solve their problem. I wish I knew that a long time ago. Anyway, looked into Strong Bone. Remember we were talking about it last week or whatever, and I was like, hey, does it make your bones strong?
I gave you a homework assignment.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Did it.
I mean, like.
Went on there. On It. Very resourceful. I'm a resourceful person. On It is a very good resource. The website. And the answer is yes, it does. Helps, like, even like the onset of like osteoporosis, like all this stuff. It's like, that's what it's like. I didn't memorize all the terms, but I know the point. But it's strontium.
That's what they name it after.
Yes, because strontium, calcium, all these things like make it so when you get older and degeneration, you lose that.
So
in your natural deal,
maybe.
And you get the strong bone, boom, strontium back in your bones, easy money. So you take the krill oil.
Back in your bones or back in your joints?
Well, your joints are made up of your bones, tendons, ligaments.
Does it go into everything?
It goes into your bones.
Okay.
So you figure the tendon connection to your bone, that's the part that can jam you up. Yeah, that can jam you up.
That's what you hurt, right? In your bicep?
Yeah.
When that happened?
Yeah, that's what I hurt. Yeah, I heard it one day. It ripped off my bone. My bicep ripped off my bone. Anyway, if I had some strong bone, that wouldn't happen. Maybe it would have. I don't know. But nonetheless, that is what Strong Bone helps. So guess what I did? Got some. No worries. But yeah, there's not just that. There's all kinds of cool stuff. Warrior bars, that's another. I got more of those. Shroom Tech for performance. And here's the thing. I think sometimes people will kind of mistake the Shroom Tech when, because it helps your oxygen uptake. They think that like, when I breathe, it has something to do with your breathing. It's not your breathing or your lungs. It's the amount of oxygen you take up when you breathe, so they can go to your muscles, the oxygen. Anyway, that's what it helps. So if you go hard, like super hard, or grappling, long, what do you call them, WODs, right? Workout of the day. Yeah. It helps. Keeps you out of the red. But yeah, go in there. There's for whatever you do, they even have workout stuff and whatnot. It's actually kind of a fun website. You'd be on there for a while looking at the cool stuff. That's my opinion and my experience. Anyway, subscribe to the pod. Actually, you know what? We'll talk about Amazon first. So Amazon click-through, this is a good way to support podcasts. What you do, if you don't know already, before you do your Amazon shopping, go to jockopodcast.com. Either on the tab on the top left in green, or on the top menu, or on the side kind of towards the bottom. There's a place to click on, just support through either support Jocko Podcast or Amazon click-through. Anyway, before you do your Amazon shopping, click through there, then do your shopping. I actually did that the other day. And I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube, but if you are, this is what I bought.
Which is totally necessary. And also, if you...
It's totally necessary.
This book, I don't know if I made it clear enough. The book that we read today is called Helmet for My Pillow by Robert Leckie. You can get that Amazon. You're going to put it, Echo will have it on the website, and when you click that and you buy it, boom, you'll be good to go. Yeah. You will support the podcast. You will support the Leckie family in some way, because they'll be somehow being supported, right? Because they're own, I'm sure, this book. So it's a good way to support this hero's family. And also get the Pacific. I don't know if we could put that. I don't know how, but anyways,
what
like if you could put it on click through, unless maybe someone bought the DVDs.
Oh, right.
But watch that, and you know what? When you watch it, like prep yourself mentally, and don't watch it while there's other things going on. Sit down,
right. Get into it
on a nice situation, logistically with a good TV set and a good speaker system.
Surround sound.
Yeah. And then watch the Pacific. And they're like, maybe you can watch 2 at a time, maybe.
Two episodes?
2 episodes, but watch them close together too, so you kind of maintain the continuity of the situation.
Right.
Because that's good too. And when you see it, man, it's just an incredibly well done thing. Yeah. It's awesome. And then when you have the background of the podcast, of the books, and you read the books, man, it's really, really powerful.
You actually get more into it.
Oh, for sure.
Like when you know the guy's backstory. The story. Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
You're more invested in the characters.
Yeah.
And you realize that when you see Lucky Leckie in the thing, you have his whole backstory of his whole life when you've read the book. Yeah. And it's awesome.
There's by the way, on the podcast website, there's a whole page with all the books of all the podcasts. Make it easy for the book situation. But before you do your Amazon shopping, click through the Amazon link and then do your shopping. And yes, I did buy this item, which I'm showing. So if you look on YouTube, you can see it. It's to add to our little collection on the table here. It's awesome. So yeah, speaking of YouTube, we have a YouTube channel. It's good. People have been telling me. For real, people have been telling me, not just one person, but they say, hey, you should take, because on YouTube channel, we have the podcast, of course, the video format, excerpts, just like, excerpts from so you can like share them and stuff like that. And then there's like, what do you call them? Artistic pieces, stuff that I put some like time into, put some soundtrack.
Echo Charles videos.
Sure. I just called it, I forget what I called it, like discipline something. I don't know. But
so you made 3 categories or 2?
2. to play. So basically, people have been asking me, hey, you should separate them and make them into playlists, which I kind of knew about, but I'm not deep into the YouTube thing.
Well, we know that.
Well, no, as far as the customization and all that, which I kind of looked into.
See,
I was like,
so this is good. What I
stuff.
like about this is people gave you a suggestion.
Yeah.
Which I saw too. You looked at it, you explored it, and now you executed on it.
Yeah, totally did. Kind of.
So if there's any other good ideas that people have, they should post them. And so that way you can improve even more, and we can improve and serve them better.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's and of course, someone going to be like, hey, and they'll say an idea. It might not be all that good, but or it may not seem like it's all that good. But if another person says it kind of unrelated, not the kind where some guys are, hey, but do this, make this or create this, and then someone just likes it or puts a like on it or says, yeah.
So you're asking for multiple.
Well, not to split hairs, but I'm not asking for anything.
Oh,
I'm saying
but that's what you act on.
Yeah. So if someone says a suggestion, maybe the next day, 2 days, 3 days later, another person says the same suggestion unrelated. And that the tendency, I see a tendency coming up, then that's when I'd start taking action. You see what I'm saying?
What about the 14,000 people that told you to make more videos?
I'm making more videos, Chris. Those are...
No, because I realized I was watching somebody speak. I can't even remember who it was, but I was watching chunks of someone speak the other night. Someone that I don't know who it was. And I was so happy that they were in short clips. And I was like, this is why we need more short clips.
Yeah.
Because it's really convenient to go, what's this idea here? Boom, You see the name of the video, you go, here's the idea. I want to think about that idea. Boom, you're good to go.
And YouTube is good like that, where if there's a bunch of them, which I think we're kind of coming up with, or our collection's kind of growing now. Mm-hmm. I'd say there's a bunch of them.
How well did you execute when people said when people were like, episode 42, make a video from this to this? How did you do any of that? Or did you blow everyone off?
No. Yeah,
you did some of them?
That's mainly what I base it on.
Oh, okay.
But they're everywhere, So some of them don't quite translate. Some of them I don't want to upload like 5 in one day. And I read some stuff that it's like, I don't know, it's not good to do that, but I don't know. That's a long story.
I bet I don't know. Let's not think about what's good to do and what's not good to do.
We just got to we're trying to get, so I dig it, man. But yeah, YouTube's good like that, where if you listen to just the, like an excerpt or just a clip, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and you're like, dang, I want to listen to some more. They not only are they there to listen if you want, but they'll suggest. So you'll have a bit of continuity there. Instead of like, oh, I'm locked into this 3-hour thing right now.
Right. Well, that's one thing that's a little bit tricky about this is that when I'm talking, I'm thinking in the context of this giant 2-hour thing. So sometimes it's hard to snip out something, and you lose a little bit, in my opinion. Yeah. But you also gain a lot because you can get it quick.
Right. And you can share it with the next guy who's more likely, or the next person to more likely listen to it. Yeah. Because even now, man, people will send me, whether it be funny videos. There's this sodium video that, a guy skipping a piece of sodium across the lake.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, you saw that video, right?
For sure.
It's been going around. I don't know if people looked for it and then sent it to me, or it's been going around so now more people are sending it to me. Because the last 2 weeks, everyone's been sending it to me.
And I want to actually do that. I want to get the sodium metal and I want to throw it into the water.
Yeah, we're doing it at your house.
I do. If we can find it, I want to do it and film it
house.
And then just
see what up.
All
right, I gotta start looking into where to get some sodium metal. But yeah, that's these are good things. This YouTube situation. Made the playlist. They're on there. Excerpts. I'm putting more on there. There it is. Subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play and all the podcast platforms. That's a good way to support, because you're essentially just kind of in the game in general, and that's really the thing. Because the more people, they'll hit us up on Twitter or just kind of knowing what you're talking about or submitting questions, this kind of stuff. It does make that circle of it's not just Jocko telling us what to do. It's kind of like we're all in this group,
Well, yeah, and we end up with a common. It's like hanging out with your friends, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Like when I go on the road now, I was just out with some firefighters, and we're all everyone's telling the same jokes, but they're all, we all get it. You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
So
like
it's cool to hang out with them because it's like as if they were here. You know? And I was actually talking to them about that. I'm like, well, it's like, when it first happened, it would be a little bit strange to me.
Right. Because you don't remember them sitting right
because
there.
No one was sitting there actually. Right. And I was like, well, sometimes it seemed like the podcast was me and Echo sitting in a room alone.
Right.
But then you realize, no, there's a lot of people sitting in here with us. Mm-hmm. And they have their own spins. This is what's funny is people have their own variations on the jokes and on the inside things and on what we're talking about. So it's all, and they've already taken stuff and spun it out somewhere. And now they're bringing it back to me. So I'm part of their, right? Yeah, I get inside 100%. Their game. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah. And that's not to mention the questions that you answer. It's all everyone's questions.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like you're like, hey, let me think up this question that I think people have. No. You got it from certain people, and you answer them. They're like, hey, it's like a 2-3-way street or something.
Better move on.
So when you're when you're subscribed, you're kind of in the group. It's a good way to support. Also, Jocko has a store called Jocko Store. Good store.
Isn't it more like the podcast has a store? Because I don't actually have a store. It's the podcast has a store.
Yeah, I guess technically.
But you always make it sound like I have a store.
Yeah, because it's called Jocko
We
Store.
have a store.
Yeah. It's not Jocko Podcast Store. It's Jocko Store.
Oh,
Jocko the store, Jocko Store. It's jockostore.com.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
I'm going to concede to the point.
There it is. Boom.
I have a store. That's what I don't like about it. It sounds weird to say that.
Bro, but when I say it, I think it sounds cool. Shirts on there. If you want to wear T-shirts and represent. Got a new design out there. Well, kind of new. 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. I'm going to put a rash guard on there.
And actually, it's a new T-shirt design.
T-shirt design,
It can be found in other places.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure. What do you mean?
I mean...
Oh, right.
It can be found in other places.
Yeah, man. It's good. But hey, look.
Like on the Get After It mug. That's where it can be found, straight up. I don't want to try playing this little game here like I wasn't going to say anything. It's the Get After It mug. We got a shirt that says Get After It.
Yeah. And that one came highly recommended. Perfect example of people saying,
Yeah.
People were saying it so like matter of fact is where it was to the point where they were like, hey, you should do a Get After It shirt. They weren't saying that anymore. They were saying, when are the Get After It shirts come out? When do they come out? Oh, I didn't know we were doing that yet, but apparently we are. So boom, they're out. And I'm glad.
They got you with psychological warfare.
Good. Man, I'm glad they did because I think they turned out good. And real simple, like most things. Anyway, these shirts are cool, I think, but go to jockostore.com and look at them. You think they're cool? You think you want to wear one, represent in the wild? Go ahead, get one, support one that way. Also, some women stuff out there. Women might be underrepresented overall, but I think that the women that are kind of in the game, that listen, that get after it, they get after it hard. To make up for the numbers, you see what I'm saying? Like the quality is greater than the quantity. Anyway, got some patches on there too. The rash guards, of course. I'm gonna put a new one out. It's in the works. It's like ready to be pushed out here in a few days, I think, maybe a week. So yeah, if you're into jiu-jitsu, that's why I think that's the primary reason I made them. But they're actually for surfing, bodyboarding. What Jocko calls sponging, cycling, CrossFit, any kind of workout where you need, like maximum mobility, but you still want to go with like a shirt on. Sometimes you just go no shirt. But yeah,
if you go no shirt, you're not supporting the podcast.
Correct. And I think we kind of did some calculations. I think the new rash guard might. I'm not saying it will because we don't know yet. They're not here. They might yield, was it 24?
Oh, so Echo he's got the sample one.
Yeah, one sample.
And the sample one, you said, gave you like 27%
I think advantage. It was like 24. But you know what? Now that you mention it, I think it was 27. Yeah. Yes.
Up from 19.
Yeah, which is a lot. But that's only one case study, so that's what I'm saying. We're really going to...
double blind test
and this is actually true where I went and I practiced. I did some rounds, and kind of when you're done rounds and you're kind of talking with the boys afterwards, and girls in our case because Haley was there too. We're talking, and I thought we were done.
Somebody called.
We were like, "Hey guys, call," and then David His last name is Bolia. He's like
Oh,
Hulk
yeah, Dave Bolia.
Hogan's
Yeah.
nephew, like
Actually?
actual nephew, like his dad's brother or something.
I didn't
I
know
might
that.
get that part wrong, but it's anyway, that's a side note.
He
Anyway,
called you out.
Yeah, well, he asked, "Is anyone still rolling?" And guess what? I still had rounds left. Shroom Tech, Rash Guard. I said, "Yeah, rolled."
Got it on with Believe.
Anyway, yeah, good deal, good experience, but
He's got a good deep half guard.
yeah, he has good everything.
Yeah, I mean, he's got good
pace,
everything else, but
yeah, brown belt,
he's
solid, respect.
Yeah. But his deep half guard, because he's a bigger dude, but he's got the Jeff Glover half guard.
He's bigger than
deep
Jeff.
half guard.
He lost some. He's trimmed up a little bit, but nonetheless, yeah, good training. Also, psychological warfare. So, if you don't know what that is, it's an album with tracks of Jocko talking, but he's not just talking. He's talking with the intent of getting you through any moments of weakness that you might have in your getting after it journey.
It goes beyond might have.
Right.
It goes into actual moments of weakness. Not that you are in a moment of weakness. You're
Right.
looking at actual donuts. They're in front of you.
Right.
They're breaking you down mentally.
Right. Boom. Click that.
No. Hit play.
Yeah, hit play, yes.
Hit play.
Yep.
Get the track in there. The actual, not a potential moment of weakness. The moment of weakness is
Straight
upon
up.
us. We're going to defeat it.
It's here, yeah.
Yeah. Psychological warfare.
Yeah. that's
And
a
we're
good
getting
one.
requests now for the second one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start thinking about that, what that's going to be like.
Yeah.
And if you want recommendations of what particular moments of weakness you might have that need to be overcome, and there's a common theme, as Echo referred to,
Sure.
we will. And if it's got to be something that I've dealt with before,
Right.
Because I can't just make up some way of overcoming a weakness that I've never experienced. Now, I've experienced a lot of weaknesses, but if you come up with something that I've never experienced, then we're going to have to just forgo that one, because I'm not going to make it up. I'm not going to make up because it might not work.
Right. It's hard to manufacture, you know?
Yeah, you can't manufacture Inspirato, as the great Tenacious D said.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I got some. We'll talk about it.
It comes
later.
from a quietude. That's where it's got to come from.
Sure. Yeah.
A stillness,
Authentic.
a quietude.
Sure.
That's the D.
But yeah, that's a good one. Psychological warfare. Jocko Willink. iTunes. Amazon Music. All those good. It's probably any music outlet.
A bunch of music outlets.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, just jump on that.
For
It helps,
download.
man. I use it. I don't recommend this, but I used it when I was like, I don't feel like working out. This is a big thing for me because I kind of had it like that where I'll be like, oh, I'm just going to rest because I don't feel like it. I didn't get 9 hours of sleep, so I'll just do it tomorrow.
No. Don't
Yeah.
do that.
Man, and it really worked with that, the workout one.
A guy, you said it works 100% of the time?
Yes.
Like the wake up one?
Yeah.
Because there's 3 wake up tracks. A guy on Twitter said a wake up track didn't work. It failed.
Interesting.
And then he said, but I made it to the number 2 wake up track, which is the way they're set. They're set like you listen to one, that's going to get you up. But if it doesn't, number 2 is waiting. And he got to number 2 and then he woke up. So we're still batting 1,000 overall.
Yeah, the overall campaign, right?
But yeah, the campaign is a win, but we did take a digger from one dude that just didn't get out of bed after listening to Psychological Warfare. Get out of bed track 1. He had to go to track 2.
Yeah,
but we're there.
Hey,
we had some reserve, got some backup. That's what we're prepared for. Yeah,
you had the spot.
I don't think anyone's made it to 3 yet. No one's made it to the wake up track 3. They haven't been there yet.
That must to make it to 2. You must be one tired dude. You must have had like a hard night the night before, and you must have a hard workout waiting for you, or something. I don't know, something. But yeah, man, in my experience, 100% success rate. But and then I started doing it just cause I want to get fired up.
Just for no reason?
Yeah, and it's weird because it's not, Jocko, row, get this, you can do. It's not that. It's almost like this.
Yeah, some people say to me, hey, can you do one of you yelling? I'm like, well, I don't really yell a lot, man. Like, I didn't yell. I'm not a yeller.
Yeah.
Now, let me phrase that. If we're in the gym and like I'm pushing someone like a MMA fighter that's in a workout, I'm like, come on, I might raise my voice a little bit, but I'm not going to yell at you, like, the drill instructor type thing. It's not really what I do.
And I could see maybe like how that could be effective, but in these cases, that's not the mood you're in anyway.
You know what? So, it could be effective for certain instances.
Right.
Yes. And actually, like I've been doing some little videos in the morning, and I realize when I watch them that I'm getting a little bit aggressive with the way I'm talking, and it's not like I'm saying, okay, I'm just starting to talk, and then I start getting
naturally.
I start escalating my own situation because I'm starting to think about when I'm saying, it means something to me.
Right.
So when I'm
That's
saying,
the
hey,
key.
you're wasting your life right now, I start I'm feeling that way because I know
fun.
that there's someone that's actually wasting their life right now.
Yeah.
And so it starts, getting a little bit escalated. And so maybe on Psychological Warfare 2, there'll be some situation that I personally escalate on. But
yeah. It would have to be natural, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah, because you can't manufacture Inspirato.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. But yeah, it's good. It's like, because you just kind of explain, like, kind of the logic behind it. Like, see what you're doing right now? But do you see that? And, well, I guess. Now I do. Shoot. Then you get up or you work out. Anyway. Yeah, I use it when it's now. Sometimes I abuse it. Well, I don't know. I'm feeling fired up and just put it in and get more fired up. Get talked into feeling even better. That's how. Dangerous. Psychological warfare. It's a good one.
Also, when you're clicking through Amazon, you can also get Jocko White tea, which it may not seem like a big deal. And maybe it isn't, but maybe it is. I tell you, judging from some of the reviews on Amazon, I'll read you one. After drinking Jocko White tea, I found I was overcome with the insurmountable urge to get after it. So much so that I was able to defeat all my foes in a short amount of time. On a side note, I have found that Jocko White tea is best served over ice and consumed from the skulls of dead enemies. Now, I don't know what situation this individual's in, right? But obviously he's in combat situation. He's got foes that need to be killed, and then he's drinking from their skulls. And even in that really stressful environment, the tea's helping him.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I'm glad that it's helping him, doing positive things against the enemies of good in the world. Also, good evening, Echo and Jocko. I woke up weighing 115 pounds the day the white tea arrives. 2 cups later, I reweighed myself, and I was now roughly 250 pounds. So he more than doubled his body weight after 2 cups of Jocko White tea. I think my tea was a little loaded and obviously gave me more than the 20% increase in gains that was promised. And I don't think we actually promised anything. I didn't promise that, but I think it kind of speaks for itself.
Yep.
And this is why I wanted to make this one's very important. Also, cruising went up roughly 200%. So there's that as well.
Oh, yeah. So, it's for everybody.
And there you go. Scientific cruising is up 200%, which is positive. Yeah. Also, Way of the Warrior Kid. I got the first hard copy. Dang. I got it in my hands. They sent me one. They're sending me more. But, dang, it's 3 hours right now. We've been talking for 3 hours.
That's my fault.
Oh, man. That's a long time. And I was going to read a little excerpt. And I think I'm going to anyways. It's already been 3 hours. But, so, young Mark he's going to jump off this bridge. He couldn't swim in the beginning of the book. Now he knows how to swim, but his goal is to jump off the bridge into the river. And he goes up there to do it, and he's scared. He gets scared. He just can't jump. So Uncle Jake, who used to be a SEAL, who's now with his young nephew trying to show him the warrior way, goes up on the bridge, and he said, "What's going on, buddy?" He said in a calm voice, "I don't know." I said, I'm just, "You're afraid, aren't you?" Uncle Jake asked. But he wasn't even asking. He knew. He knew I was scared. There was no point in denying it. Uncle Jake knew it as plain as day. "Yes," I finally said in a quiet tone, too embarrassed that I was afraid. Then, to my surprise, Uncle Jake said, "That's normal." "What?" I responded, shocked at Uncle Jake's statement. I said, "That's normal. You're doing something you've never done before, so it's normal to be a little hesitant. It's called fear. It's a normal emotion, and it's okay." Then he added, "Well, it's okay as long as you can control it." This made no sense to me. How am I supposed to control fear? And how would you know? You're not afraid of anything. Uncle Jake sat quietly for a minute. Then he said, "I wish that were true." "What do you mean?" I asked him. "Well, you said I'm not afraid of anything. And that is just not true. Fear is normal. In fact, fear is good. Fear is what warns you when things are dangerous. Fear is what makes you prepare. Fear keeps us out of a lot of trouble. So there's nothing wrong with fear. But fear can also be overwhelming. It can be unreasonable. It can cause you to freeze up and make bad decisions or hesitate when you need to act. So you have to learn to control fear, and that's what you need to do right now. Okay, that sounds great, and I would really love to make you happy and overcome my fear, but I don't know how. Uncle Jake thought about that, about what I had just said for a few seconds, and then he said, okay, well, the first part of controlling fear you have already done, and that is preparation. You've done plenty of preparation to be ready for this moment, to face this fear. Starting with dunking your head, all the way up to swimming all around and back and forth across this river, you have done little jumps off the riverbank. All of the last several weeks have been preparing you for this jump. And all that preparation works to help overcome the fear. Imagine how scared you would be if you still didn't know how to swim. You would be horrified. But you have prepared. Then why am I still scared? I asked Uncle Jake. Simple, he said. Because there's still an element of the unknown. You've never jumped off anything this high before, so you don't know what it feels like. People are afraid of what they don't know or what they don't understand, but you have prepared. You know it is safe. You know you are ready. It's just this last little bit of fear that has to be overcome. And you know how you do that? I have no idea, I told him. You go. Just go? I asked Uncle Jake, now partly thinking he was just joking. Yes, you just go. You see, fear lives in the moment, that powerful moment between when you decide you are going to do something and when you do it. Once you go, once you start, you won't be afraid anymore. You overcome fear by going. And it is the same in many aspects of life. Parachuting, talking in front of a crowd, taking a test, running a race, competing in jiu-jitsu. The fear is in the waiting. So, once you have planned, once you have prepared and trained and studied, there is only one thing left to do. Go. And that's it? Yes, that's it. As soon as Uncle Jake finished those words, he stood up, looked at me, yelled out, "Hoo-yah," and jumped off the bridge. Just go, I thought to myself. I stood up, stepped up onto the edge of the wall, and looked down at Uncle Jake, who had just come back to the surface and was looking up at me with a big smile on his face. With all my heart and lungs, I yelled out, "Hoo-yah," and stepped off the bridge, past my fear and into the unknown. I felt myself falling for a while, and then whoosh, I was in the water. I came to the surface and had a big smile on my face. "I can fly," I yelled. "I can fly." So, little excerpt.
Dang, that was good, man.
From The Way of the Warrior Kid. It comes out May 2nd. So, go and go. Order the book for you, for your kid, for your neighbor, for your nephew, for your niece, for the school, the library, whoever. Order them so the publisher that's making this book, we want them to know that they need to print a bunch of these. They don't know that right now. They don't know how many kids want to get after it. They don't know that. They don't know that. And they're not going to print enough. It's the same thing that happened with Jocko White tea, right? You remember that shortage, the anger, the frustration, the nationwide 19% drop in performance across the board. We remember that. Don't let it happen here. Same thing. You can order that. You can also pre-order Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual. Comes out October 17th. 1717.
Take it.
That's the book that you asked for. So you can order that one too. And of course, Extreme Ownership. You can get that one. People buy it, and then they buy it for their team, and it spreads. So pick that up for you and your team up and down the chain of command. Extreme Ownership. Beyond that, if you want some direct action and interaction with your company that you work at, you can contact our company, Echelon Front, me, Leif Babin, JP Donnell, Dave Burke. We can get in the game with you. info@echelonfront.com. Lastly, if you don't know, we have Muster 002 coming up at the Marriott Grand Marquis in New York City, May 4th and 5th. Leadership, strategy, tactics. Again, me, Leif, JP, Dave Burke. And of course, and probably most important, Echo Charles. He's going to be there.
Yeah.
And he might try and hide, but he can't. Because none of us can, because there's no green room, there's no backstage. There's just all of us together getting after it. And of course, before the muster, you can find us. We're cruising kind of hard on the interwebs, on Twitter, on Instagram, and in the Facebook. Boy. Echo is at Echo Charles, and I am at Jocko Willink.